Hey friends, Alvin here. We are continuing our interview series, our interview learning series about what different youth leaders across CPOQ have been learning during the last few weeks. And I'm pleased today that we are joined by Hannah Fairbanks, who's the youth pastor at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Toronto. Welcome, Hannah.
Hey Alvin, how's it going?
Great. And so one of the first questions I've been asking everyone right off the bat is, since March break, what have you seen change in your youth right now?
So the things that changed for me since March break has been obviously not meeting face to face with my youth group, and I think that's across the board for everyone. But yeah, just kind of switching stuff onto Zoom. Um, it took me a day or two to like learn the system of how to do that. But yeah, just kind of encouraging the youth to get on board on that, just downloading the app and things like that. So that has been a difference. But also at the same time, it's been neat to kind of still be in community with one another, just in a different format. It's been challenging to some extent as well, but overall, I think it's still great that we can stay connected through the internet and Facebook, Instagram, so many different ways. And so um, um, if we were doing this 20 years ago, it'd be way harder, I think, and that kind of thing. But yeah, the youth group is staying engaged through those things for sure.
So it sounds like most of the tools that you're using right now are Zoom, Instagram, anything else that you're throwing in the mix there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm using Facebook mostly for parents. Instagram is mostly the youth as well. Um, Zoom, but I'm also using Trello to organize my youth leaders so that they can know when they're going to be leading a Sunday school lesson or the group discussion on a Friday night and stuff. Yeah, so we're using those for, social platforms and things like that. Yeah.
And so right now, if you had to give a bit of a percentage, like how many do you think are engaging with those different platforms?
I mean, most of my youth group is on our Instagram. We have group chats going.
Mhm.
We have two because our group is too big, and I know that they're engaging in that because you can see who's seen it,
Mm.
and once in a while they'll comment or something. Um, but on Zoom, like we have roughly on average 11 of us showing up. It's kind of challenging to encourage more of the youth to move to that format, just because I think a lot of them are tired from video calls for school and maybe friends and things like that. And then also I think in general we lose track of time as well. So I think yeah, so I send reminders and stuff, but yeah, there is engagement to some extent, just not in the way that I would hope for. Hoping for more engagement, but also understanding that there's still a lot going on in their lives, even though everything's switched to online.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, as you've been going through this for the last few weeks now, what's an example of, let's say, of a success story that's worked well so far?
I think like I started doing baking videos just because like I was bored and I thought the youth might be bored, and so why not learn how to make a dessert or something, and stuff like that. So I've been doing that, and some of the youth have engaged in that to the point where they'll send me photos of the thing that they baked.
Hmm.
Um, but also, I think the thing that has been the most successful is that every 2 weeks I like go to some of the youth's house and drop off like an encouragement note and maybe some McDonald's like Sundays or whatever, and things like that. So I call it a drive by and drop off, which sounds kind of sketch, but it's fun because it's completely surprise. So they don't really know when I'm gonna show up, and that kind of thing. So yeah, just to kind of make their day and make them smile a bit and encourage them and say, hey, like we're still thinking about you and we care about you. And I think that has been successful. And I think that has encouraged some of the youth to even participate in our Zoom calls
Hmm.
after that, because a couple of them weren't participating before. But then after that, they were like, oh, okay, like I actually have a community that cares about me. So maybe I should show up to that community, and stuff. So I think that's what's been successful is just still being in relationship and encouraging them just in creative ways, I guess. Yeah.
No, it sounds like you're definitely helping to extend that sense of belonging for for those in your youth group right now. That's great to hear. Curious, do you divvy up your baking goods to other people as well?
Well, at first it was just my family. They enjoyed the treats and stuff. Actually, today after our TBM meeting, I'm gonna be dropping off some baked goods and some stuff to some of the youth as well. So that'll be the first time that they'll be getting some baked goods.
Nice.
Yeah,
Maybe you've got your side business right there, right? So,
maybe. Yeah, start a bakery basically.
oh. And so on the flip side of that, then, what have you found? I guess, what kind of struggles have you faced as you've been trying to navigate the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think just kind of it feels like it's being longer and longer in quarantine, and so I'm feeling a bit discouraged. So I know that some of the youth and parents are probably as well. So just trying to find that motivation to stay connected with them and encourage them, but then also finding ways for me to feel motivated and encouraged and things like that. So for me, I had to find like little side projects and stuff. So the baking videos was one of those things. I'm starting to garden just because I'm really bored. But I think that's what's been hard is the getting tired of the Zoom calls as well. I find them very draining. But at the same time, I like seeing their faces and getting to catch up with them and that kind of stuff. So I think that's what's been challenging. But then also, I mean, staying connected through email and text messages and all that stuff, like it's not the same thing as seeing them face to face. So I'm really looking forward to when we can all get together again. So I already told our youth group that we'll have a massive party, maybe a sleepover at the church or something. I don't know, just to celebrate that we can see each other and hang out again. But I think it's teaching us how the value of relationship and the value of community and how important it is. And yeah.
So, I'm curious with your youth group right now, as some of those, like you mentioned a second ago, how the value of relationship, even how that's being defined. How have you seen that maybe evolving within some of the youth in their thinking?
Yeah, well, I mean, some of my younger youth have invited friends to our Zoom youth groups, and they're people that I've never met before COVID. So it's exciting. But the ones that we're attending on a regular basis is a bit more challenging to reach out to them a little bit. But they're working as well. A couple of our youth are working in grocery stores and things like that. So sending a text message just saying, "Hey, I'm praying for you, hoping that you're safe even though you're working, and thanks for serving," and that kind of stuff. And like I've done mentoring calls on FaceTime, and I've actually spoke to one of my youth on the phone, and which is like they know how to use a phone, what? That kind of thing. So yeah, just kind of reaching out in different ways, and like when a youth pops to mind, just kind of sending a message to them, whatever media that they use on a regular basis, and just saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you and praying for you. Here's an encouraging verse," or "I hope that you can connect with us on our Zoom youth group days and stuff." And yeah, and usually they respond back and stuff. And so I think relationship for them, I think they're learning who are their true friends to some extent as well. Just like they're not staying in contact with all of their friends. So staying in contact with those close ones, and trying to encourage them to reach out to people as well, saying, "Hey, like you need to reach out to people. They can't just be the ones reaching out to you." So and that kind of aspect of just like it's a two-way street in relationships and friendships, that it can't be one-sided. Yeah, so I think those are some of the things that they're learning about friendship, and I think they're learning as well a lot about who they are as a person and their identity, and their relationships with their family as well, because I think this is definitely showing them things that they might not like about themselves, but then also things that they might love about their family, and trying new things and stuff. So yeah.
No, it's encouraging to hear. Want to take a step back for a moment, because one of the things that you mentioned a couple of minutes ago was, what some might call Zoom fatigue. So, you've been on a lot of these calls. You're on one right now, right? And so how do you handle Zoom fatigue?
Yeah, yeah, just trying to go outside when the weather is nice. To me, I mean, it snowed recently, so that was just weird. But yeah, trying to enjoy the outdoors a little bit because I find that fresh air and being out in the backyard or just walking my dog helps, just to kind of get out a little bit and to experience nature a little. But yeah, I actually bought a book on Portugal and its history, so I'm going to read something for fun for the first time after finishing school. Yeah, just trying to do new things and spend time with the family. So we've been playing some board games a bit more than we used to, um, watching movies and TV shows and stuff, and yeah, and calling friends, that we can talk about deeper things and check in with one another. But yeah, sleep as well is key. Taking naps every so often if needed. But I find the outdoors helps a lot. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm gardening a bit too, is just that it's kind of cool to see something grow, and you feel that sense of accomplishment, but then it forces you to be outside a little bit as well. So yeah.
No, I think those are some very helpful tips. Uh, so right now, and as your role as youth pastor, what things, pre-COVID are still kind of the same? What things have changed? What do you find yourself spending more time on versus other things? How's that shifted?
Um, Things that haven't changed. I mean, we are still like meeting on Fridays and Sundays. It's just different times than we used to. And we're still talking about life and God and the Bible and that kind of stuff, but just in a different format. I mean, social media, we were already doing that beforehand, posting photos of our events on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But now it's a bit more intensified, I guess, the social media presence. So um, I've been posting since day one of the self quarantine, encouraging verses on photos of our youth group, and just each day doing that. And yeah, just kind of like photos throughout the past couple of years and a verse that will encourage and maybe bring a smile to someone's face or make them think about their faith and their relationship with God a little bit. Um, yeah, and then doing some videos of just kind of like reminder youth group is on Fridays at 7, of just videos of them playing basketball or card games or um, things that we've done this past summer and stuff like that. So it just kind of reminds them about the community that they had and they can still have as well. So I think that's what's changed. But I'm still sending the weekly emails to parents and youth, and that's I've always done that. Yeah, and just kind of the thing that changes, I guess, is just being creative and innovative on how to engage people online and just kind of try to do different things and see what works and what doesn't work and learn from it, and then talk to people, to the youth and parents, and just kind of say, hey, like, what do you guys need? What topics should we talk about? Is there any resources or articles that I can send you to help you deal with having your youth at home? Here's some ideas of things that you can do. So like I send parents sometimes 10 things that you can do at home. So like camp in the backyard, or build a fort, and or have a sleepover in the living room, or bake, or whatever, just so that they can do something different. Because I find that each day kind of blurs into one day just because of staying at home and not having maybe a routine, or you have a routine and it just becomes very like boring, I guess. And so just yeah, things like that. Being creative and innovative, I think, is one of the things that is good about this, is that it's forcing us to think outside of the box a little bit.
So I'm curious, what are some things that you've done as a group before COVID that have translated well into some kind of online version?
Mm. Um, that's a really good question. I think just yeah, just checking in with one another. Like our youth group is very relational, um, and we like spending time with one another. So it's kind of challenging that we have to do it online, because we used to go out for lunch all the time, or McDonald's, and that's why I think I'm doing that encouragement drop off as well. But yeah, I mean, doing it on Zoom, it's transitioned pretty well, the discussion, being able to share your screen and watch a video together and then talk about it has been good. We've been doing Youth Alpha with a bunch of other youth groups as well, and we watch the video together and break out into breakout rooms, and two of my youth are actually leading that discussion, so it's been neat to see that. But that was something that started after COVID. But yeah, so I think just our social media presence, like, was good before, and our understanding of technology, I think, was pretty decent. So the transition from face to face to online wasn't really that difficult of one, surprisingly, to be honest. And so because I thought maybe the youth wouldn't buy into Zoom and that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think it's been working out really well overall.
No, that's great to hear. As we're wrapping up here, for those who are watching, for those who are listening, what would be a word of encouragement you want to share with them, or words of wisdom?
Yeah, I would just say, like, take a chance, be creative and innovative, try it out. There's no harm if it doesn't work out. So if you have an idea of how to engage your youth or your parents, or your leaders and stuff like that, just try it out. I think people just care that you care about them, and they would appreciate anything that you do. So um, if it doesn't work out, then it's just learn from it and kind of be like, okay, maybe I need to ask people what their needs are and how can we can stay connected. And maybe your youth have ideas on games or topics that they want to talk about. Yeah, because they're pretty creative and tech savvy and stuff. So just asking for their advice gives them an opportunity to step up into leadership, and then also might help you out as well. So yeah, take a chance, be creative, be innovative, and yeah, and just do youth ministry the best that you can. And God's at work already in their lives, and He'll use you in whatever capacity that you're doing right now. So yeah, I would say that.
Oh, those are definitely some great reminders for us. Well, thank you, Hannah. Thank you for your time and for some of the different examples, as well as just even sharing about what your insights have been for the last few weeks. So I appreciate your time. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks. Thanks, Alvin.